So good morning to all of you. So today in this lecture session, so we will see in detail regarding ionization techniques that are available in mass spectrometry. So as we have seen, in case of mass spectrometry, we have four different areas. One is the sample injection, and then ionization, and then we have analyzer part is there. The fourth one is the detector part will be there. Especially in case of mass spectrometry, instrumentation is also very important for us, because in case of mass spectrometry, instrumentation is more like customizable. So depending upon your requirement, you can change the kind of instrument combination or configuration that we can use. Okay, so today we will see the first two parts. One is the sample injection and then the analyzer part. Okay, so like this, we have the sample inlet, then ion source, third one is mass analyzer, fourth one is detector. Okay, in case of sample inlets, what kind of samples we can make use? So here, unlike other spectroscopy techniques and other analytical techniques, we don't have a streamlined process via which a sample can be injected. Okay, so all the time we needed sample to be converted into a vapor. Okay, so one is you use heat so that you can evaporate the sample, or we use spray plus dry to evaporate the sample, to create the sample in evaporated condition. Otherwise we use heat plus protection. Okay, like in case of MALDI, matrix assisted laser desorption and ionization. So these are the three methods that are extensively used in the introduction of sample into the ionization chamber. So all the time we needed the drug in the, or the chemical molecule in the vapor condition. So once it is vaporized, then it can be ionized, and we needed all the drug molecules in the vapor condition so that they can be, or we can also make use of gaseous condition, so that ions that are present in gaseous condition can be allowed to run, so that analysis can be done, analyzer can be used. Okay, so here what type of samples we can make use? It all depends upon the type of ionization that you are using. For electron impact, FAB, MALDI, ESI. So these are the four completely different types of ionization techniques. The remaining are slightly modified versions of these techniques. So in the first case, we can make use of heat to evaporate. We inject the sample into the sample inlet, and then we heat it to evaporate. Heat to 220 degrees centigrade approximately, up to this one. And the second one is we spray and use a drying gas, like in case of electrospray ionization. So here in the first case, heat and evaporate, we can use gas samples or gaseous, volatile samples, and heat stable. All thermostable samples only can be analyzed over here. In case of electrospray ionization, we can make use of any sample which can be solubilized in a particular solvent which is evaporable. Okay, all samples, all types of medium polar samples can be used for electrospray ionization, where we inject, ultimately we spray the sample and dry it, so that when we dry the spray, what will happen? Whatever chemical that is there, non-volatile sample that is there in the spray, can spread like a foam. Okay, it's like a fog, so that the volatilized volatilized drug molecules can be subjected to ionization so that the ions that are present in gaseous phase can be sent to analyzer. And then heat and protection. Sometimes when a molecule cannot be directly heated, okay, here it is almost like direct heating. But when a sample cannot be directly heated, then in those cases, what we will do is, we will make use of pointed energy like lasers to heat the sample, and at the same time, let's say this is the sample, we apply a coat, like in case of matrix, containing cinnamic acid esters or phthalates. Okay, so regarding MALDI, we will discuss in detail in the coming slides, no problem. So in this way, in case of mass spectrometry, we can analyze gas samples, liquid samples, solid samples, thermolabile samples, thermostable samples. In mass spectrometry, we can analyze inorganic ions, organic compounds. We can analyze small molecules, macromolecules. Okay, now you can see the expanse of mass spectrometry. All types of samples, whatever are there in existence, can be analyzed by using mass spectrometry, because we have customizable sample inlets for analyzing specific category of compounds. Okay, so is it clear to all of you? So depending upon the type of sample, we can make use of appropriate combination of components in mass spectrometry, so that any kind of a sample like gas or liquid or solid, any of these samples can be analyzed. Okay, so now the second segment is the ionization technique. Ionization technique. So what is the first thing? Vapor or gaseous phase. Now we have the molecules in vapor condition. Normally what is done over here is, we use energy so that all these will be converted to either positive ions or negative ions. So let's take right now, these are converted to positive ions by providing energy. So this energy can change. So if you change the energy, whatever you are using, the ionization method will change. So once the energy is provided, then what is the next thing that we do? We subject this to acceleration. So here we have positive ions. So here we use cathode, where minus charge is given. So cations are attracted. Then when we apply negative voltage over here on these plates, these are what we call them as accelerator plates. These ions will start moving in this direction. Some of the ions may collide and die over here, and the remaining ions will travel like this, so that an ion beam is generated. So depending upon the energy source, we can have different type of ionization techniques. So here we have 4 types of techniques are there. 4 types of ionization. So as I told you, if a molecule is there, it can be converted to M+ or M-. Okay. So here the most popular technique is electron ejection. That is what we use in case of EIMS, electron impact mass spectrometry, where we bombard the drug molecule with high energy electron, so that electron is eliminated, so that a positively charged ion is generated. So electron ejection methods. We do have electron capture methods are also there, like in case of ICP-MS. And then addition of a proton or removal of proton, like in case of ESI-MS. So here the funda is very simple. Let's say we have an acid like CH3COOH. If it is there, how can you generate an ion? By addition of a proton or removal of a proton, because this is an acid. CH3 C double bond O minus. This is an ion. Yes or no? This is the ion. So this is the way how in case of ESI ions are generated. By using appropriate buffer, we can either remove or add a proton. Or to give you further example, let's say if you take glycine to COOH NH2, okay, so it can generate COO minus NH2. This is one of the ion, negative ion, or it can produce ammonium ion. Okay, so by adding proton, we got a positively charged ion. By removing proton, we got a negatively charged ion. So this is one type of ionization technique. The third one, last one is cationization. Cationization means we use chemical ions like calcium ion, sodium ion, ammonium ion to be added to the compound, so that it will produce a positively charged ion. Okay, positively charged ion. So these are the four very popular methodologies that are being used right now in case of mass spectrometry for ionization of the sample molecule. So here I have a list of different techniques like electron impact, chemical ionization, atmospheric pressure chemical ionization, atmospheric pressure photoionization. These two are so different. Then field desorption ionization in case of ICP, thermal ionization by using heat like MALDI, spark source is used, and glow discharge. In these three, direct energy is used, ICP, MS. And then secondary ion mass spectrometry is where we use an already charged ion to ionize the drug molecule. We will see in detail regarding very important techniques. Okay, don't worry. Laser desorption, like in case of MALDI, fast atom bombardment, and then liquid secondary ion mass spec, field, again it came, field desorption, MALDI, ESI. Okay, so like this. So these are the various different techniques that are used, but most of the techniques are only for literature or otherwise history sake. Most of them merged into important techniques like almost like a half a dozen techniques are there. But if you see like the kind of energy that we are using for ionization, if high energy is used, that is what we call it as hard ionization techniques. And if we are using energy which is not enough for degrading the entire molecule, this is what we call it as a soft or condensed phase ionization. Okay, so here, as you are moving in this direction, here you can see electron impact ionization is a hard gas phase ionization. But if you see MALDI and electrospray ionization are on the other side of the scale, where these two are what we call them as soft condensed phase ionization. Okay, so here we don't need the drug to be evaporated by using heat. Heat is not needed. Here heat is needed. So that's the reason why here we use very high energy, so thereby molecule may get degraded. Here degradation of molecule will not be there that much. Okay, so in the soft side, as you are moving from here to here, we see these field desorption, say fast atom bombardment, and then if you are going in the higher energy side, APCI, atmospheric pressure chemical ionization, photoionization, chemical ionization, all these are on the other side. Okay, so depending upon your compound, let's say you have a thermostable volatile compound like menthol. Which technique you use? We can use ESI or electron ionization. EI can be used for detection of menthol. Let's say you have to identify insulin. Which technique we will use? Can we use EI? So that will degrade this macromolecule and we cannot recognize the degradation pattern. So that's the reason why we will go to ESI to identify insulin. Or MALDI can also be used for detection of macromolecules which are thermostable, thermolabile, and which are non-volatile. Non-volatile and thermolabile. Okay, so this is the way how we use this matrix to decide which technique has to be used for what type of compound. Depending upon the type of analyte, we choose mass spectrometry. Okay, so I hope I made myself clear here. One second, somebody is asking for permission. Okay, so to summarize the kind of ionization techniques that we have. So these are the 7 different types of ionization techniques which are popular, and in the market you can find mass spectrometry instruments using all these techniques. Okay, so here electron impact is one of the oldest and most affordable technique as far as mass spectrometry is concerned. Next comes fast atom bombardment. Third one is electrospray ionization. Fourth one is matrix assisted laser desorption ionization. And then chemical ionization is also used. APCA is very popular right now. Direct analysis in real time or DART technique is recently evolving, and right now we have very few instruments with the DART technology. It is going to revolutionize the way how we analyze pharmaceutical products. We will have a separate session to discuss the latest trends, where we are going to discuss about DART. Okay, so let's see one by one. In case of electron impact ionization, this is one of the oldest techniques that are available. Okay, so here what will be there? We needed first the energy source. Energy source means electron generation. So it is a simple filament. When you heat it or when you apply a voltage difference of 70 volts, what will happen? It is going to evolve electrons, because when you give high energy, elements are going to be ionized. Okay, and electrons are knocked out of the outer electrodes. Okay, outer energy shells. So when electrons are generated, we keep a positively charged electrode on the other side. Okay, positively charged electrode on the other side, so that electrons will travel in this direction with appreciable speed. Then from the sample inlet, we introduce the drug molecule in vapor condition. So when they collide, because they are orthogonal in nature, because it is almost like perpendicular, and then when the molecules are occupying this chamber, ionization chamber, okay, so these electrons will bombard with the molecules, so thereby positively charged ions are generated. Electrons are going to be knocked out, so positively charged ions are generated. So here also we make use of appropriate charged electrode, so that it acts as an ion repeller. So the positively charged ions are going to be moving away from the ionization chamber. So how they are moving? They are moving in the other direction. The job of ion repeller is to facilitate movement of positively charged ions away from the ionization chamber towards the accelerator plates. So all these are what we call them as accelerator plates or ion focusing plates. Ion focusing plate. They do two things. One is, these are simply plates. So these are like plates with a hole in it. Let's say when ions M plus ions, when they are traveling, some of the ions may hit these plates, so thereby they will die there. Some of the ions, because they are traveling with such a velocity, so they may escape by going through this, so that it acts as something like an accelerator plates. Because it is positively charged or negatively charged, it will use a charge which is opposite to the charge that is developed on the molecular ion. Okay, if you have a minus charge, we keep here positive charge. If we have positive charge here, we'll keep here negative charge. So then what will happen? The ions are going to be attracted and then they will travel, escape through the orifice that we have over here, so that ultimately what we are going to have is something like an ion beam. Ion beam. So this ion beam will go to the mass analyzer. Mass analyzer. So here what is happening? The sample in vapor condition we are introducing into an ionization chamber where a filament is heated, from where electrons that are evolving over here are forming something like an ion beam here. Okay, electron beam. So here, because these two are orthogonal, are perpendicular to each other, so the molecules that are coming in this vapor phase over here, the drug molecules, will hit the electron beam over here. So thereby they will lose an electron, so thereby they produce ions. And then they will be attracted towards the accelerator plates. So here, if you have positively charged ions over here, so here we use negative charged plates, negatively charged plates. So thereby the ions are going to move in this direction, and then ultimately it will go to the mass analyzer. Okay, so this is what is electron impact ionization technique, one of the oldest, most affordable and easy to operate ionization methodology. So in case of electron impact ionization, as it is mentioned, sample is introduced as a volatile gas. So it has to be heated until it evaporates, and then once it is evaporated, it will be submitted to ionization. And then gas phased sample is bombarded with electrons with energy 70 electron volts. Then molecule is shattered into fragments, and fragments are sent to analyzer. Okay, so here the advantages are, so in case of electron impact mass spectrometry or electron impact ionization, one is the sample must be volatile or gas. Third one is it must be thermostable. Fourth one is probably low molecular weight sample. Low molecular weight sample. So these are the conditions. These are the conditions. So disadvantage is if the sample is non-volatile, if the sample cannot be converted to gas, if the sample is thermolabile, if the sample is high molecular weight, in all these cases, we will not be able to make use of electron impact ionization. Okay. Here the advantages are, one is it is affordable. Okay, affordable. Let's say if you see the cost of EIMS will be around 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs. Okay. If you take GCMS, in case of GCMS, gas interface is gas chromatography is connected to mass spectrometry. So this entire setup, the basic version may vary from 28 to 40 lakhs. Okay, and it is almost maintenance free. Almost maintenance free. Second one is, the most important thing over here is, because EI is one of the oldest techniques. So by this time, millions of spectra were done. Okay, so here a large database is available. Because the large database is available for various compounds, automated analysis of compounds can be done. Because after electron impact ionization, the compound will be degraded. So fragment ions will come. For millions of compounds, this database is available. So that's the reason why we have right now mass spectrometry databases are available. So these databases are right now used for GCMS analysis of volatile compounds. So if you inject a sample into GCMS or EAMS, if the spectrum is coming, that spectrum can be directly submitted for automated analysis. So if any known compound spectrum is matching with the unknown compound, so in that way we can match two compounds. Means compound identification is possible. Because in a specific physicochemical conditions, mass spectrum of an unknown compound, if it is superimposable on another mass spectrum, so there is every possibility that both samples are the same. Okay, mass spectrometry is superimposable. So that is the way how the mass spectrometry analysis can be done, especially for EAMS. Automatically we can do that. Okay, in case of EAMS, we have the fragmentation is also possible. So because we get fragments, compound structure identity can also be done. Regarding fragmentation, we will discuss about this one later. And here, one more thing that we need to clearly understand is why we cannot use EI or electron impact for polymers or proteins. Okay, so in case of electron impact, it shatters the chemical bonds because we are using 70. Okay, so 70 electron volts energy, very high energy electron energy is used. So that's the reason why chemical bonds can be shattered. So any given protein contains 20 different amino acids, means various types of functional groups will be there. The bonds are not very much stable. So that's the reason why EI may be able to shatter the protein into very smaller fragments. Okay, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Let's say if you have a jigsaw puzzle like this, and when you break it into 4 pieces, okay, so here we have this, and here we have this, and here we have this, and here we have this. Then it is easy to assemble all these to get a meaningful structure. Let's say if you have, if you break this one to smaller pieces, okay, smaller pieces, then it will not be easy for us to assemble them together to get a meaningful structure. So it is not possible when there is a possibility of fragmenting the compounds into smaller pieces. Okay, so that's the reason. Why we may get thousands of different signals from a single protein, and it is very complex to analyze. So this is the reason why electron impact mass spectrometry is not used for not only proteins but macromolecules and highly thermolabile molecules. Okay. The second one is fast atom bombardment ionization. So here the logic is very simple. Like in case of electron, it is hitting a molecule, so that the impact is so huge that an electron will be knocked out of the sample, so that M+ is generated. So here what we do is, in case of fast atom bombardment, we try to reduce the energy density. Let's say if a bullet has a weight of 5 grams, and when it is fired, it can go through an object very easily. Because the area in which it is going to exchange its energy is very, very less. Let's say you have a cotton ball. You have a cotton ball, and when you give same energy to it, when you give same energy to it, do you think it can go through? Do you think it can go through this object? It's not possible because the energy is distributed over large volume. Okay, same energy is given to this one as well as this one. This is more like point energy. This is more like distributed energy. So instead of using electrons which is of this much size and negatively charged, we use ions like the sodium ion, which is almost 23 times bigger than an electron. 23 times bigger than an electron, Na plus. We give same energy. Same energy is given to this one. So that because energy is distributed over a large volume, when you hit this one with the molecule, okay, the bombardment will not be that much effective, so that it will not be able to destroy the molecule. It may convert this one to M plus. Okay, so this is the way how fast atom bombardment ionization is considered as semi-soft, partially soft ionization kind of a technique, where we can go up to 1000 to 1500 molecular weight. 1000 to 1500. In the literature, it is mentioned like 5 kD can also be analyzed by using fast atom bombardment ionization, but up to 1500 we can get dependable results. In case of EA, we can go up to 500 is the best, but 1000 is given, but 500 is the best. Up to 500, 0 to 500, the molecular weight can be analyzed by using EA. In case of fab mass, 0 to 1000, or we can go up to 1500 with the dependable results, but in the literature it is mentioned as 5 kD. Okay, so let's see the procedure that we adopt here. In case of fab mass, we use the same setup in the beginning. Same filament which is producing electrons. So here you remember that we are using 70 electron volts. And then the electrons are coming. Now we inject the reagent gas here, so that ions are generated. Now we use the same accelerator plate so that the ions are traveling with required speed. Then we use this as the ion beam, so that target molecule is now injected from here. So this is from where we are injecting our sample in this direction. So orthogonal again. Okay, it is again orthogonal direction, and then the ions that are generated in the first phase will collide with the target compound, so that the target compound will be converted into corresponding ions. Now these ions will be sent through a second set of accelerating plates to the mass analyzer. So here ionization is happening in two stages. Okay, first one is we use a reagent gas like sodium vapor will be sent into the ionization chamber, first ionization chamber. So here the electrons will collide with sodium, and then corresponding ions are generated. So these ions will be allowed to pass through the accelerator plate, so that high energy ion beam is generated. So this high energy ion beam will be allowed to collide with the target compound, so that the target compound is converted into corresponding ion, which will be allowed to pass through the second set of accelerator plates, so that it will go to the mass analyzer. Okay, so here also we have the same kind of requirements, like here the sample is injected via heat or gas, heat, vapor, okay, or gas. So here also we have the same advantages and disadvantages, like EI. But here, one more addition is, in case of advantages, we can go up to 1500 kD, 1500 Daltons, sorry, up to 1500 molecular weight with comfort. But in the literature, it is mentioned like 5 kD, means 5000 Daltons molecular weight. Means smaller peptides can also be analyzed. And in the disadvantages, when the problem is here, because we are using a reagent gas, sodium ions. So instead of M plus, we quite often get M plus Na plus. Okay, this type of ions will also come in case of fast atom bombardment ionization. Okay, right now Fab mass is not very popular right now. Now I think it is replaced by ESI and MALDI. ESI and MALDI are ruling the world right now. In soft ionization, one of the very important technique which has revolutionized the analysis of biomolecules, especially proteins, is what we call it as MALDI. MALDI means matrix assisted laser desorption and ionization. Matrix assisted laser desorption and ionization. Desorption, ionization. Okay. So it is actually introduced by French and Carras. So they have done seminal contributions in this particular technique. And later on, MALDI was coupled with time of flight analyzer, so that MALDI-TOF or MALDI Q-TOF. We will discuss in detail regarding this combination also. Right now, this is an indispensable tool in proteomics studies. Okay, MALDI Q-TOF is extensively used right now. Now, how it happens? Let's see. So here, these are the scientists who got Nobel Prize for the development of mass spectrometry, especially the protein identifications. So in MALDI, what will happen here is, the logic is very simple. Let's say if you have a molecule here, and if you apply a laser to it, what will happen? So it may chart. The reason laser is very high energy, very high energy. Second one is it is focused. So if this is the case, then how can you reduce charring or how can you control it? So what is the laser we are using? We can use IR laser, UV laser, so many different types of lasers are there. In IR laser, Nd:YAG, maybe you might have heard about this one, Nd:YAG laser. So this is used in cosmetology, in hair removal. Okay, so in case of UV, they are using UV laser. The reason is UV laser or UV protection has something to do with the sunscreen lotions. So what is the mostly used sunscreen compound, a very popular ingredient in sunscreen lotions?
Titanium dioxide, sir.
In case of sunscreen lotions, the compounds with the highly conjugated structure connected to lipids and long chain fatty alcohol esterified onto substituted cinnamic acids. Okay, so this is one of the very popular UV protecting agent. And the second one is phthalates, either phthalic acid ester or thalamide, okay, means NH will be there here. So these type of compounds are there which are very popular as far as sunscreen lotions are concerned. Right now so many natural products are also there, but we don't need them. So here what we will do, because a laser is coming and killing our compound, let's imagine that we apply a lotion. We apply a lotion. So when you apply lotion, what will happen? When we apply lotion, if the energy is applied over here, let's say we give, if this is the compound, this is the compound, this is the compound, this is the compound, then what will happen? We have applied the sunscreen lotion. Now, if a laser is coming in this way, it will first, because it is of high energy, so a little bit of energy will be absorbed by the lotion over here, and then this will be heated. Okay, this area will be heated. Then it generates so much of heat, very, very high energy. So because of heat, it will evaporate. Second one is, this area gets destroyed. This area gets destroyed. What about the next area, nearby area? So these compounds will get enough energy so that ions are generated. They will get ionized, because of heat they will evaporate. Okay, so in this way, though a little bit of destruction is happening over here, in the nearby environment, the compounds that we have, they will evaporate and ionization is also possible. So this kind of simple logic is there behind matrix assisted laser desorption ionization technique. Okay. And the next one is, here the advantages are, we can go up to 15 kD comfortably. Though MALDI spectroscopy is used to obtain molecular weights up to 13 kD, 30 kD. Even some of the complicated proteins like immunoglobulins were also analyzed. Immunoglobulins are also analyzed by using MALDI technique. The reason why Nobel Prize was given, because protein structural elucidation is one of the toughest challenges before the scientists. So that's the reason why scientists who have contributed to protein analysis, like just now I have shown you, the scientist is Kurt Wittrich, who is responsible for three-dimensional NMR spectroscopy. Tanaka and Fenn are responsible for the mass spectrometry analysis. Okay, so three-dimensional structure of protein could be elucidated. So that's the reason why Nobel was given. Okay, so by using MALDI ionization, we can study very high molecular weight thermolabile compounds can also be studied. In disadvantages, it is so expensive. It is so expensive. So MALDI will go above 1 crore. Just now we have seen EAMS, how much it was costing. EAMS, even if it is coupled with GC, it costs about 30 to 38 lakhs, or let's say 40 lakhs, not more than that. Excellent machine made by Agilent or PerkinElmer will come at this cost. But if you use MALDI, that in combination with MALDI, if you use LC and MALDI together, ESI and MALDI, this is what we call it as combination techniques. In all these cases, the chart price will be more than 1 crore and it needs maintenance. Third one is, we are using a matrix. Okay, so when we use a matrix may also react with compound. matrix may also react with compound. So that's the reason why you will not get M plus ion. M plus ion cannot be obtained. M plus reagent will always, or the compound, whatever we are using. If you are using cinnamic acid, because when you submit the sample for MALDI or FAB, you have to ask for the reaction conditions so that the mass operator will give you the kind of resin they are using or matrix they are using, so that you will get some standard fragments. Okay, so that M plus the fragment 1, M plus fragment 2, like this you have to see and analyze the mass spectrum. So in this way. So MALDI is a very popular technique right now in the peptide analysis. Okay, it is not a regular method to be used for small molecule organic compounds. Right now, MALDI became newer techniques came in MALDI. That's what we call it as CELD. Okay, so here what will happen is, let's say you take a plate, 96 well plate type of plate will be there, where you have apertures. So this is customizable like a chip. Okay, if you have seen that one in HPLC, the way how we keep the samples. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth. Now you can apply one sample here, sample number 2 here, sample number 3 here, sample number 4 here. Means you simply prepare drug plus matrix, okay, and then a little bit of sample you keep it here, and then sample number 2 you keep here, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you load this one into the mass spectrometry and give a program so that at a time you can do multiple sample analysis. Means automated high throughput sample analysis is possible in case of modified MALDI techniques. Most popular techniques as far as mass spectrometry. With this, we will conclude today's lecture. So today what we have seen is, we have seen what are the various types of ionization techniques we have. In ionization techniques, we have seen electron impact ionization, and then FAB mass ionization, and the third one is MALDI ionization, are the 3 ionization techniques that we have seen. In each one of them, we have seen what are the advantages and the disadvantages. We will discuss in detail regarding all these in combination with hyphenated techniques like GC-EAMS, LC MALDI TOF. Regarding those techniques, we will see in detail in the coming lectures. Okay, so I thank you for your patient listening. If you have any doubts, please come back to me, send me an email or WhatsApp me, so that I'll be able to answer your questions. Okay.